Gomer Pyle, U.S.M.C. 1964-1960 is more than just a sitcom. It's a timeless piece of television history that continues to bring smiles decades later. With its mix of military life slapstick comedy and heartfelt moments, the show introduced audiences to a cast of unforgettable characters from the lovable and innocent Gomer to the strict yet endearing Sergeant Carter. Each actor left a lasting impression, making the series a cultural touchstone of the 1960s. But what became of these stars after the cameras stopped rolling? Some went on to achieve new heights in Hollywood, others found fulfillment in quieter paths, and a few are fondly remembered after their passing. Join us as we revisit the lives and careers of the Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. cast, discovering where they were then and where they are now. Ronnie Schell portrayed Duke Slater in Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. 1964 at the age of 32. Duke Slater was one of the supporting Marines in the barracks, a sharp, witty, and often street-smart counterpart to Gomer's wide-eyed innocence. While sometimes teasing Pyle, Duke frequently acted as a friend and confidant, helping to smooth over conflicts and balance the constant tension between Carter and his good-natured recruit. His character added dimension to the ensemble, showing the everyday camaraderie of Marines beyond the central duo. Ronnie Schell in real life was a talented stand-up comedian whose career flourished in the 1960s and beyond. He was known for his sharp impressions, his roles in shows like That Girl and Good Morning World, and his voice work in animated series such as Hong Kong Phooey. Schell also performed in Las Vegas and appeared as a guest star on numerous variety programs, carving out a reputation as a versatile entertainer with both comedic timing and improvisational flair. Offstage, he was admired for his long dedication to the entertainment industry, frequently participating in nostalgic reunions and interviews about classic television. Born in 1931, he remains one of the last surviving members of the Gomer Pyle cast. As of 2025, he is 93 years old. Forrest Compton portrayed Colonel Edward Gray in Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. 1964 at the age of 39. As Carter's commanding officer, Colonel Gray embodied discipline, authority, and military pride, though he often found himself bemused by the never-ending tug-of-war between Carter and Pyle. His appearances lent weight and formality to the series, reminding viewers of the military hierarchy, while also offering moments of humor as he observed the chaos beneath him. Forrest Compton's career extended far beyond Gomer Pyle. He became widely recognized for his long-running role as Mike Carr in the soap opera The Edge of Night, where he portrayed the dedicated lawyer and family man for over 2 decades. He also appeared in shows like Hogan's Heroes, Mayberry RFD, and even One Life to Live, showcasing his range across genres. In his personal life, Compton was known for his quiet strength and professionalism, admired by colleagues for his steady presence. Tragically, he passed away on April 4, 2020 at the age of 94 due to complications from COVID-19, marking the loss of one of television's enduring character actors. Jim Nabors portrayed Private Gomer Pyle in Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. 1964 at the age of 34. Originally introduced on the Andy Griffith Show, Gomer Pyle is the gentle, good-natured gas station attendant who enlists in the Marines, bringing with him an innocence and unshakable optimism that constantly clash with the rigid demands of military life. Gomer's slow drawl, literal-mindedness, and wide-eyed wonder often exasperate Sergeant Carter, but his honesty, loyalty, and compassion turn him into the moral heart of the series. He represents the idea that kindness and integrity can thrive even in tough environments, and his adventures, often comedic, highlight the clash between ordinary decency and military discipline. Jim Nabors' career stretched far beyond comedy. His deep baritone voice surprised audiences, leading to a successful recording career with gold records and frequent performances on variety shows, including The Carol Burnett Show. He was also a regular at the Indianapolis 500, where he traditionally sang Back Home Again in Indiana for decades. Personally, Nabors was known for his humility and warmth. In 2013, he married longtime partner Stan Cadwallader in Hawaii, becoming one of the most high-profile same-sex unions of the time. Nabors passed away on November 30, 2017 at the age of 87, leaving behind a legacy as both a beloved television personality and a remarkable singer. Roy Stewart portrayed Corporal Chuck Boyle in Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. 1965 when he was 38 years old. Corporal Boyle served as one of the steady Marines in Sergeant Carter's platoon, acting as a straight man against the comic antics of Gomer. Practical, loyal, and often caught in the middle of Carter's outbursts and Pyle's mishaps, Boyle provided balance and helped ground the humor in military realism. While not always the center of the storyline, his presence was essential in fleshing out the barracks' daily life, contributing to the chemistry of the ensemble cast. In real life, Roy Stewart enjoyed a career as both an actor and comedian, appearing in television series such as Bewitched and That Girl, alongside his recurring role in Gomer Pyle. His ability to play understated but reliable supporting characters earned him steady work in Hollywood during the 1960s and 1970s. Stewart also had a background in stand-up, which sharpened his timing and made him a versatile performer. Though he never achieved leading man fame, he was admired for his professionalism and dedication to his craft. Roy Stewart passed away on December 25, 2005 at the age of 78, remembered warmly by fans of classic television. Frank Sutton portrayed Sergeant Vince Carter in Gomer Pyle, U.S.M.C. 1964 when he was 41 years old. Sergeant Carter is the perfect foil to Gomer's strict blustery and constantly on the verge of exploding at his recruits' endless mistakes. His iconic yelling of Pyle became a comedic hallmark, yet beneath his frustration, Carter shows loyalty and even affection for his well-meaning private. Over time, the dynamic between Carter and Pyle evolved from one-sided exasperation to a relationship resembling that of a stern mentor and a hapless but lovable student. The role showcased Sutton's sharp timing, strong voice, and ability to balance comedy with humanity. Off-screen, Frank Sutton was a skilled character actor who appeared in The Twilight Zone Gunsmoke and several Broadway productions before Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. made him a household name. Married to Toby Igler, with whom he had 2 children, Sutton was admired for his professionalism and intensity. Sadly, his career was cut short when he suffered a fatal heart attack on June 28, 1974 at the age of 50. His sudden death shocked fans and colleagues alike, but his legacy endures through the unforgettable role of Sergeant Carter, a character who embodied both the frustrations and the hidden warmth of military life. Alan Melvin portrayed Sergeant Charlie Hacker in Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. 1965 when he was 42 years old. Hacker was one of the recurring sergeants who brought additional tension and comic rivalry to Sergeant Carter's world, often amplifying the challenges faced by Gomer in his bumbling journey through Marine life. With his booming voice and strong presence, Melvin made Hacker both authoritative and entertaining, contributing to the show's authentic military flavor. Outside the series, Alan Melvin became one of television's most recognizable faces and voices. His career spanned decades with beloved roles such as Barney Hefner on All in the Family and Archie Bunker's place in Sam the Butcher, Alice's devoted boyfriend on The Brady Bunch. He also became a prolific voice actor in Saturday morning cartoons, lending his talents to characters in Magilla Gorilla, The Flintstones, and Scooby-Doo. His versatility allowed him to move easily between comedy drama and voice work, making him a staple of American television for over 40 years. In his personal life, Melvin was married to Amalia Faustina Sestero for more than 6 decades, a rare Hollywood marriage that stood the test of time. He passed away on January 17, 2008 at the age of 84 after a long battle with cancer. Remembered for his warmth, professionalism, and ability to bring humor to every role, Melvin remains a beloved figure in classic television history. Barbara Stewart portrayed Bunny Wilson in Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. 1964 when she was 34 years old. Bunny was Sergeant Carter's girlfriend, a vivacious, caring, and sometimes exasperated woman who softened Carter's tough exterior. Through her relationship with him, audiences saw a more human and vulnerable side to the gruff sergeant. Bunny's warmth and humor added romantic and comedic layers to the show, creating memorable moments where she balanced Carter's bluster with patience and affection. Barbara Stewart herself enjoyed a diverse career in film and television. She appeared in movies like Hellfighters with John Wayne and had guest roles on popular shows such as Perry Mason, The Twilight Zone, and The Dick Van Dyke Show. Known for her versatility, she could move seamlessly between drama and comedy, though she is most fondly remembered as Bunny. In her personal life, Stewart was once married to actor Dick Gautier, with whom she shared a lively connection within Hollywood circles. She passed away on May 15, 2011 at the age of 81, leaving behind a legacy as one of television's bright and charismatic supporting actresses. Herbie Faye portrayed Harry in Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. 1966 when he was 67 years old. Harry was one of the colorful civilian characters brought into the orbit of Gomer and his Marine companions, often contributing humor with his quirky personality and down-to-earth charm. Though a smaller role, his comic timing added texture to the show's ensemble of military and civilian life. Herbie Faye himself was a seasoned vaudevillian and comedian with roots in burlesque and nightclub performances before transitioning into television. He was well known for his appearances on The Phil Silvers Show, where his wisecracking style and gravelly voice made him stand out. Later, he guest starred in sitcoms like The Dick Van Dyke Show, The Odd Couple, and Bewitched, proving his versatility in comedy. Faye had a career defined by his ability to deliver humor with timing honed from decades on stage. Though never a household name, he was admired by colleagues for his wit and longevity in show business. He passed away on June 28, 1980 at the age of 81, leaving behind a legacy rooted in the golden age of comedy and television. Ted Bessel portrayed Frankie in Gomer Pyle, U.S.M.C. 1965 when he was 30 years old. Frankie was one of the young Marines who shared barracks life with Gomer Duke and the others, often contributing to the everyday atmosphere of military humor. While he did not have the spotlight like Gomer or Sergeant Carter, his easygoing nature banter with fellow Marines and occasional involvement in misadventures helped enrich the sense of ensemble comedy that made the series believable. Ted Bessel himself had an easy charm, a boy-next-door quality that translated into steady television success. His true breakthrough came with That Girl, 1966-1971, where he starred opposite Marlo Thomas as Donald Hollinger, the supportive boyfriend whose comedic timing and chemistry with Thomas made him a household name. Beyond acting, Bessel's interests turned toward directing and producing. He directed episodes of The Tracy Ullman Show and was developing a feature film project at the time of his death. Off-screen, he lived a relatively private life, married to Linnell Nobary, and was admired for his warmth and professionalism. Tragically, his promising career was cut short when he died suddenly of an aortic aneurysm on October 6, 1996 at the age of 61. His loss was felt deeply in Hollywood, as he had been poised for a new chapter behind the camera. Elizabeth McRae portrayed Luann Poovey in Gomer Pyle, U.S.M.C. 1966 when she was 30 years old. Luann was Gomer's sweet-natured girlfriend, a Southern belle with a gentle heart and a charming accent that matched his own. Often portrayed as naive yet endlessly kind Luann brought a romantic storyline into Gomer's world, highlighting his innocence and expanding his character beyond the military barracks. Their relationship was tender and humorous, showing that even a Marine prone to bumbling could find love and loyalty. Elizabeth McRae herself enjoyed a long and diverse acting career, with appearances in the Andy Griffith Show, Gunsmoke, Hogan's Heroes, and soap operas like General Hospital. She also acted in films such as The Conversation 1974, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, where she demonstrated her ability to transition into dramatic roles. In her personal life, she was married to actor and singer Charles Halsey and later to artist Nedrick Young, building a life surrounded by creative circles. After retiring from Hollywood, McRae pursued work in arts and crafts while enjoying a quieter life. She passed away on May 27, 2024, at the age of 88, leaving behind fond memories of Luann Poovey, a character that embodied warmth, sweetness, and Southern charm. Larry Hovis portrayed Larry in Gomer Pyle, U.S.M.C. 1964 when he was 28 years old. Larry was one of the Marines in Carter's platoon, contributing to the comic interactions and lighthearted mischief among the men. Although the role was relatively brief, Hovis brought energy and humor to the part, showing early signs of his comedic instincts that would soon flourish elsewhere. His career took a major leap when he was cast as Sergeant Carter's fellow soldier, Andrew Carter, on Hogan's Heroes, the hit sitcom, where he remained a core cast member throughout its run. Beyond acting, Larry Hovis was also a talented writer, producer, and singer, contributing behind the scenes in Hollywood, and even working on game shows as a producer. Known for his sharp wit, he later taught drama at Texas State University, mentoring younger generations of performers. Off-screen, Hovis was admired for his intelligence, warmth, and commitment to comedy. He passed away on September 9, 2003 at the age of 67 after battling cancer. Though his time on Gomer Pyle was brief, his later success cemented him as a familiar and beloved face in classic American television. William Christopher portrayed Lester Hummel in Gomer Pyle, U.S.M.C. 1965 when he was 33 years old. Hummel was one of the Marines who added depth and camaraderie to the platoon, embodying the everyday humor and humanity of military life. While rarely at the center of the plot, Hummel's presence brought a sense of authenticity and stability, helping to round out the comic balance between Gomer's innocence and Carter's exasperation. William Christopher's career flourished beyond Gomer Pyle, most famously with his role as Father Francis Mulcahy on MASH, 1972-1983, and its sequel, After MASH. His portrayal of the kind-hearted, empathetic chaplain won over audiences, adding heart to a show often balancing comedy and the grim realities of war. Off-screen, Christopher shared his compassion in real life. Married to Barbara O'Connor since 1957, he was a dedicated family man and advocate for autism awareness inspired by his son Ned's diagnosis. Together with his wife, he co-wrote Mixed Blessings, a book detailing their experiences raising a child with autism, which helped other families facing similar challenges. His advocacy and kindness mirrored the gentle characters he often portrayed. Christopher passed away on December 31, 2016 at the age of 84 from small cell carcinoma. He is remembered not only for his iconic role on one of television's greatest dramas, but also for his enduring legacy of empathy and advocacy. Ken Lynch portrayed an FBI man in Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. 1965 when he was 55 years old. Though his role in the series was brief, Lynch's imposing presence and authoritative demeanor made him a perfect fit for government and law enforcement characters. His appearance as an FBI agent lent realism and contrast to the light-hearted misadventures of Gomer and his comrades. In reality, Ken Lynch had an extensive career as a character actor, often cast as tough cops, detectives, and military men. He appeared in over 150 television shows, including The Twilight Zone, Star Trek Gunsmoke, and The Andy Griffith Show, cementing his place as one of the most recognizable tough guy faces of classic television. He also had roles in films such as North by Northwest 1959, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, where he played law enforcement with the same stern authenticity he was known for. Off-screen, Lynch maintained a low public profile, preferring steady work over stardom. He died on February 13, 1990, at the age of 79, remembered as one of Hollywood's most reliable and versatile character actors. Buck Young portrayed Sergeant Whipple in Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. 1964 when he was 43 years old. Sergeant Whipple was a recurring Marine who often served as part of the strict military environment surrounding Gomer and Carter, adding both discipline and comedic interplay to the platoon's daily life. Whipple reinforced the structure and authority that made Gomer's innocent mistakes all the more humorous, helping to highlight the contrast between military order and Pyle's lovable chaos. Buck Young had a steady career in television and film, frequently appearing in guest roles across classics such as Dragnet Bonanza and Mission Impossible. Though rarely a leading man, his rugged looks and straightforward presence made him a reliable supporting actor in the 1960s and 1970s. Beyond Gomer Pyle, he built a reputation for playing military or law enforcement roles, reflecting his ability to bring authenticity to uniformed characters. In his personal life, Young maintained a low profile, focusing on his family while balancing steady work in Hollywood. He died on February 4, 2000 at the age of 78, remembered as one of television's hardworking character actors whose career added depth to many beloved series. Paul Breyer portrayed a bartender in Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. 1966 when he was 56 years old. Though his role was small, serving drinks and trading lines with Marines, it added texture to the show's world, reminding viewers that Gomer's adventures extended beyond the barracks. Breyer specialized in these working-class parts: bartenders, cab drivers, police officers, bringing humor and authenticity that made him one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces of mid-century television. Over his long career, he accumulated hundreds of credits, appearing in series such as Dragnet Bonanza, Columbo, The Rockford Files, and Perry Mason. His film appearances were equally notable, with small roles in classics like Butch Cassidy and The Sundance Kid 1969, Blazing Saddles 1974, and All the President's Men 1976. Off-screen, he was married to actress Claudia Breyer, forming a dependable Hollywood couple whose careers overlapped in television. Though rarely in the spotlight, Paul Breyer's reliability and natural screen presence made him indispensable to casting directors. He died on August 30, 1985, at the age of 75, leaving behind an immense body of work that continues to surface in reruns of beloved shows and films. John Lupton portrayed Captain Edwards in Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. 1964 when he was 36 years old. Captain Edwards embodied the kind of disciplined officer who would appear to evaluate Sergeant Carter's performance and the efficiency of the platoon, often reacting with stern professionalism in contrast to Gomer's bumbling innocence. His presence emphasized the military framework that surrounded the comedy, ensuring the audience remembered that the Marines operated under real authority. Lupton was already an established actor by this time, known for playing upright and likable men. He first rose to prominence in Disney's The Great Locomotive Chase 1956, where his earnest screen presence made him a perfect counterpart to Fess Parker. He later starred as Tom Jeffords in the syndicated Western Broken Arrow 1956-1958, which gave him a steady fan base. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, he guest starred in series such as Bonanza, Perry Mason Gunsmoke, and Wagon Train, steadily working even if never becoming a top-billed star. Off-screen, Lupton lived a relatively private life, married to Diane Frimmel, with whom he raised a family. His career reflected the life of a dependable Hollywood actor, never the brightest spotlight, but consistently respected. He died on November 3, 1993 at age 65, remembered for his reliability and the sincerity he brought to his roles. Tom Hatton portrayed Captain Murdoch in Gomer Pyle, U.S.M.C. 1964 when he was 38 years old. As Captain Murdoch, he represented the higher-ranking officer in charge of overseeing the antics of Sergeant Carter and his platoon, occasionally appearing to add authority and structure to the comedic narrative. His role brought a sense of discipline and reminded audiences of the seriousness of Marine life, even when played for laughs. Outside the show, Tom Hatton built a remarkable career in Los Angeles television as a beloved children's host and cultural figure. He became widely known for The Popeye Show on KTLA, where he entertained generations of young viewers with cartoon sketches and warm on-screen presence. Later, he hosted Family Film Festival, introducing classic movies to new audiences and building a reputation as a thoughtful film historian. Hatton was also a Navy veteran and had an extensive background in theater and local media. Off-screen, he lived a quiet but impactful life, remembered by fans as both an educator and entertainer. He passed away on March 16, 2019, at the age of 92, leaving behind a legacy as one of Los Angeles television's most cherished personalities. Herb Vigran portrayed a waiter in Gomer Pyle, U.S.M.C. 1966, when he was 56 years old. Vigran's appearance was brief, but in line with the kinds of roles that defined his career. Service workers, shopkeepers, and comic side characters who enriched the everyday settings of television. With his distinctive nasal voice, expressive face, and timing, honed from years in radio, he became one of the most prolific character actors of his time. Vigran's career began on radio in the 1930s, where he worked with legends like Jack Benny and Lucille Ball before transitioning into television. He appeared in I Love Lucy Dragnet, The Twilight Zone Perry Mason, Bewitched Gunsmoke, and many others often uncredited, but always instantly recognizable. His film roles included appearances in White Christmas 1954 and The Big Heat, Nan 1953. While he never became a leading star, his adaptability made him an indispensable part of Hollywood's supporting fabric. Off-screen, Vigran lived modestly and was admired for his professionalism. He died on November 29, 1986 at the age of 76, closing a career that spanned over 4 decades and touched nearly every corner of American entertainment. Sid Melton portrayed Friendly Freddy in Gomer Pyle, U.S.M.C. 1966, when he was 49 years old. Freddy was the type of fast-talking, colorful civilian. Melton excelled at slightly shady, comical, and always ready with a scheme. His energy injected extra humor into episodes where Gomer ventured beyond his strict military routine. Melton himself was one of television's most prolific comic character actors. On Make Room for Daddy, he played Uncle Charlie, while on Green Acres, he became beloved as Alf Monroe, the hapless carpenter, forever overshadowed by his sister Ralph. His comedy was rooted in vaudeville tradition, zany expressions, physical clumsiness, and rapid-fire dialogue. In films, he appeared in B-movies like Lost Continent, 1951, and Captain John Smith, and Pocahontas, 1953, though television secured his reputation. Melton never married and lived a bachelor's life, but he was closely associated with Betty White, who described him as one of the kindest, funniest men in Hollywood. He also had a long stage background and continued to work well into old age. Passing away on November 3, 2011 at 94, Melton was remembered as a warm-hearted comedian whose endless supporting turns made him part of the very fabric of American sitcom history. Peter Hansen portrayed Lieutenant Colonel Van Pelt in Gomer Pyle, U.S.M.C. 1964, when he was 43 years old. As Van Pelt, he served as one of the senior Marine officers who occasionally appeared to evaluate Sergeant Carter's leadership and the unit's discipline. His character brought a serious, commanding tone that contrasted with Gomer's wide-eyed innocence, reminding audiences that beneath the comedy, military life still operated on strict rules. Hansen's authoritative presence lent weight to these episodes, making him a memorable part of the extended cast. Beyond the series, Hansen enjoyed a career that spanned over 50 years. His best-known role came on General Hospital, where he portrayed lawyer Lee Baldwin from 1965 until 2004, becoming a trusted fixture for generations of soap opera fans. He also starred in the science fiction classic When Worlds Collide 1951 and appeared in series like Cheers the Golden Girls in Dallas. Hansen's dedication to acting earned him a Daytime Emmy Award in 1979, solidifying his reputation as a reliable and respected performer. Off-screen, he was married to Florence Betty Breyer for decades, raising a family while balancing his busy career. Hansen passed away on April 9, 2017 at the age of 95, remembered not only for his professionalism, but also for his warmth and longevity in Hollywood. Who is your favorite character from Gomer Pyle, U.S.M.C.? How do you feel knowing that some cast members are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated. We appreciate your support and are glad to have you as part of our community.